Okay, some good flesh glitz yellow here. Okay. So Aaron requested specially that I outline the missile launchers in yellow. Turn the lighting up. Oh, that's why it's acting funny. That's much better. That's much flowier. A little bit of clean water on your brush goes a very long way. Mm. Well, nice and clean. Okay. If you're wondering, how am I planning on doing the glass of the cockpit? I use a three-color blend. Blue from Pro Acryl, Sky Blue, and Bold Titanium White. Now, I cut my teeth on White Scar, and I still have a bottle of it. I hate using it. It always feels chalky. It never comes out of the brush right. It never looks right on the model. All the difference in the world, and I really wish I knew the name of the lady that recommended this to me. It was practically life-changing when it came to painting. So I'm going to shake these up. My wet palette is almost wet enough. Hold on. So, Bold Titanium White, Sky Blue, and just blue. Now I'm going to try and center these on the end of the camera a little more. So I've got the Bold Titanium White, Sky Blue, and blue. I'll get the lighting situation fixed at some point. So I'm going to take and start by, shoot, of course I didn't have it on this table, adding one more thing in the mix. This is retarder medium. And I'm going to use this and put just a drop in between each one. And for this, I'm going to switch to one of the cheap brushes because I don't want to get that stuff stuck in my pretty sable. So I'm going to take some, mix it with the blue. A little water would help too. So the job of this stuff is to keep it from drying. Now, I'm going to put a little bit on as the base color. Then a little more on this side. There. Grab a smaller brush. This is a 00. I'm going to grab a triple. And then we're going to kind of blend it in. I like to blend it in right on the model. Mostly because I think it's fun. And let's see if it comes out. Well, let's switch cameras and see if we can give you a better view. Here we are. Okay. We're going to zoom in. It's not helping a whole lot. Sorry, the whole camera thing is still experimental for me. It's still shiny. And, you can see some of the gradient in there. Well, there it goes. And you see how it's still wet. That's the retarder letting the colors stay wet longer so I can blend them. Let's switch back. Okay, so it's still a little bit wet, and I want to add a white highlight where I think the shine is going to be the brightest. So I'm going to add it right down at the bottom corner here. Oh, dry brush, not helpful. Wet brush, helpful. And then I'm just pushing it into the corner with my finger, taking off the extra paint and blending it in a little. So it doesn't look quite so bright, but it still has a little bit of pop. And up here in this corner too. There we are. All right, that I'm happy with. It's almost kind of like the spark of life for something mechanical. It's not everybody's thing. I get it. Oop, turn that light off. That's shining right in my eyes. All right, so brushes must be cleaned. Brushes must be cleaned. There we are. And how about this? That one does not look clean. That's coming out clean. Let's give it a little brush cleaner. And I'm going to pull it through while twisting it a little bit to hopefully help it keep that shape. Whoop, there. That one's done. Okay, I want to do, let's see, we've got a heat sink here, a heat sink here, and a heat vent here. So I want to go black. And I can tell that my child was in this. Oh yeah. Out comes the X-Acto knife. So the last time I streamed about painting, I mentioned coworkers just not even commenting anymore on when my hands were funny colors. Every once in a while when I'm doing this, my hair winds up funny colors. That they do still rib me for. Fair's fair. There we go. Oh, almost. There we are. And see, this is the big place where citadel paints fall down because you get just a little bit of paint in there and then it starts compounding and it eventually doesn't stay closed properly and will oxidize if you don't clean them regularly. So we're going to, once again, wet our brush. I'm going to turn this light up again. I'm also going to do the missile ports in black because, why not? I do like when I have some paint on the tongue. And that happens, oh jeez. Where are you stuck? There. Okay. And we're going to pop you out. Close. There. Wet. This is looking a little thick. Yeah, that is thick. No wonder it's not going in like I want it to. Okay. Oh, only have tiny bit left in this one. Hopefully that's enough. Give it a good shake. Oh yeah, that's a lot flowier. Ooh. My unprofessional web presence. I forgot to mute Discord notifications. Now, there's a bonus for doing the missile launch tubes in black. And that's, when you think about it, what is a missile? Well, it's a giant rocket engine. It's going to put out exhaust fumes and soot, or maybe even, or maybe scorch the metal a little bit. So it's okay if you go a little over on these, because, as you saw a minute ago, just go over it with your finger, and it kind of looks like ash on the model. It darkens it up a little bit. There we are. Yeah, let's get into some of these venting areas. Here and here. And, oh yeah, the big one around back. Actually, I'm not going to do that one. I'll show you how I'll do both of those. Why not? Let's do this one. Okay, so when you want to get into nooks and crannies, there are many options. You could thin your own paints. You could use something like one of the Citadel shade paints, or a wash from by any other name. So I kind of alternate between the Citadel shade paint, Null Oil, and Panel Line accent color from Tamiya. This one smells bad, but it works really cool. Don't know how well this is going to show up on camera. I'm going to lower the camera a bit. And we're gonna just touch this here. You see that it just kind of magically goes through all the nooks and crannies. you do it right, it almost takes on a bit of a cell-shaded look. Get that out of my way. Don't know if that's going to help the situation for visibility or not. Oop, oop. Okay, so, hey, look, blue fingers. All right, I'll clean that up well enough. Okay, so just doing the panel lining adds a bunch of depth to your model right off the bat. Now, it still looks flat. So I'm going to find a color that I want to kind of blend, and I'm going to dry brush a little bit. And I'm going to go a little bit lighter because this is my base. Straw and green would make it kind of fade a little bit. But I think I want to go the nurgling green route, which is even brighter. Well, I can tell it's been a while since I've shaken this one. It took a while for the ball bearing to break free. All right, let's look at it. Yeah, that looks all right. Okay. Now, I'm going to get out one of my smaller Citadel dry brushes. This one is a synthetic hair. This one's a little more spread out. I do like it more though. I think I'm going to use this one. And time to grab the tool that ruins brushes. Not really. Um, all the way over here. Okay. This is my dry brush texture palette. As you can see, I use it a lot. So, the idea is if you're using a regular paint, you want to get the majority of it off until it just highlights the textures. Tiny bit on, and I'm going to use the bricks over here. And you see how we go from solid color to just raising the shade. So I'm going to start going over the edges to bring up the color a little bit. And mostly I'm going to see it along the edges. If I see more of it, there's too much on the brush. That's definitely looking less flat. Maybe a little muddled. But these are battlefield equipment, so I want them to look a little, well, used. Need to get more sticky tack. I would like to apologize if you are in the comments. When I'm painting, I don't really look at them because I don't want to mess up. Okay, so uh, there. We've taken it up a notch and kind of blended it. I'm not happy with how that yellow is turning out. So I'm going to grab the yellow again. I brushed some of it off. A little water. So let's brighten it back up. Brighten it and smooth it back up. Get these lines nice and clean along the edge. There. A bit more vibrant. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab the lightest gray I've got. I'm looking at the wrong paints, of course. It's over here. Dawnstone. Right. Oh, I just realized how much flour I still had on my thumb. I made pizza for the kids tonight. Well, I think my poor Dawnstone is done. Maybe. Oh, it's also not the lightest gray I have. That's why it's been a while. Administratum gray. Okay. Okay. So I've talked about bringing colors down and, with this needs a little thinning while I'm talking. Um, by panel lining, you can also apply a wash in a very targeted way to darken up an area. And I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate that too. I'm gonna use Steel Tan Green from their shade line. All right, I'm gonna flip the model back over to the back. All right, this whole area in here, we've already gotten some panel lining in there, but I want to make some areas look like a darker green. So I'm going to take some of this. As you can see, it's very, very thin. Very thin. And I'm going to just touch it in areas where I think it could use some little darker patches to blend it in. Don't need much. Get some at the base of the head here, underneath the little arming cap. And down here, I haven't done the panel lining yet, so I'm going to go ahead and anywhere I'm going to panel line, I'm just going to paint over it with with this wash. And I'm seeing places where I was a little rough with the dry brush. I seem to have scraped off some of my regular paint. So I'm going to have to go in and take care of that and touch up. But with just that little bit, it's already starting to look better. I'm already happier with this. All right. One more with the arming cap. There. I'm going to go ahead and start doing some of those areas. There are a number of ways you can apply panel line um, panel line accent color. This can be a challenge depending on how cooperative your fingers are feeling. I just paint it on around these midriffs because they're supposed to be geared, so it doesn't hurt to make it look like it's got a little extra grease on it or if you find that you don't like applying it, this can apply to washes as well with whatever with a brush or with this tiny thing. The alternative is go really old school with a quill. And then you just press it in until the nib opens up a little bit and it spreads all on its own. Now you really only want it in that little reservoir there. Otherwise you'll wind up spilling out on the rest of the model. Oop, got a little out of control there. It's going to darken up pretty much everything. Because even though the chunkier parts of the pigment are going to settle in those grooves, they're still liquid. So it's going to spread around. And I said it on my last stream, I'll say it again. There is not one single way to paint. And if you are looking for another style, or maybe, somebody more advanced than I am happy to make some recommendations. Um, One of the best places I tell everybody to start is Lila Mev, the Mini Witch. She is very talented. She is very patient. She has good cadence and is very instructive. I've learned quite a bit from watching her. Oop, too much. Boop. Okay. So now we have a dark, spooky, almost dingy looking model. I'm gonna clean my quill. All right. And then you notice I keep a stack of my cleaned brushes here, and I don't put them back in my storage. I don't want to store wet brushes like this so that any liquid goes down into the ferrule. Lay it flat. Your brushes will thank you for it. And now I'm going to close up this stinky, stinky bottle. Okay. I want to start doing some brightening of this model. So I'm going to do it with two things, Administratum Gray and Scorpy Green. And this is the part where I'm going to break out my ittiest bittiest brushes. And a 00, and a 000. I'm going to go with the triple. So first, some water on the bristles. I'm going to grab a little paint with it. And give it a little quick test. There we are. So I want to kind of picture where the light's hitting it. And hit some corners. Just light little lines along the edges. Not looking to get a bold statement here, but it does add a little bit to the cell shaded look. And I pick a lighter shade of each of the main colors, so Scorpy Green to highlight the Warpstone Glow. And Administratum Gray to highlight I believe it's Dark Warm Gray is what I chose. Now, the thing about these tiny brushes, they don't carry much paint, which for what I'm doing here is a good thing, but it also dries out quicker. So I don't know if you can see how dry the paint on this brush already is. So you wind up going back to your water cup a lot more frequently with itty bitty brushes just to keep them clean enough so that the paint moves. And you can see, I'm still pulling color out on my hand. It sets in pretty quick. And some of you may be saying, Dennis, didn't you already hit the edges with that dry brush? And yes, I did. A little bit. But that also blended color in. This is exclusively hitting an edge to bring it up, make it pop more. I mean, these are giant metallic monstrosities. I love a good stompy bot. And the trebuchet, make no mistake, is a good stompy bot. I like missiles and I like autocannons. Lasers as backup weapons. Let's get these calves. Small though they may be, Trebuchet did not skip leg day. Oh, we got dry. I'm happy with how the green is looking right now. I'm gonna switch over to the Administratum Gray. Let's make some of these gray parts look a little less dull. Got a heck of a project after this. After I get these mechs out to Aaron, I had a friend drop off Bard Song. a board game. Not gonna lie, I am dying to start on this thing. All right. Here we go. Anything you have that just looks like it doesn't have a whole lot of shape, or it almost blends in to other things with its color. Just add this tiny one of these tiny little edge highlights too, and it really shows off the features. Okay. That's a goof. I'll have to hit that again. Okay. Well, I don't like how little there. There. I am, as you can see, a fairly messy painter. I do go back and touch up a lot before I call a model done. But I think that's gonna be good for tonight. Alright. I'm gonna cap my paints, organize them into which stack of models I'm working on. Let him dry. Let's give a good wash to the brushes I used. I don't know if you could hear that, but that was my small cat getting a snootful of lettuce for some reason and sneezing her brains out. I have some hydroponic planters. I find having green and growing things in a basement apartment makes it a lot homier. All right, that my brushes are clean. I need to empty and refill my water cup. Of course, I had an extra hair tie here, and I didn't need to go looking for one 10 minutes beforehand. All right, I am gonna sign off for the night, and I hope you all have a good time. Good night.